All right, CJ Stroud likely to miss his second straight game. What was supposed to be, what is with the Browns, what it means, and is asking Case Keenum to do it again a little bit too much. Let's go inside the locker room.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the locker room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey. Locker room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source. We the pulse of the city.
Getting crazy around here. It is the locker room, number one source for Texans daily digital content. I'm Landry Locker. You can hear me Monday through Friday, 10 to 2 Central. Sports Radio 610 and the Odyssey app. Exclusive interview with the players straight off the practice field on Thursday. And it's going to be an interesting week because the breaking news while you were napping, or at least while I was napping, CJ Stroud likely to miss his second straight game on Sunday. DJ Bieniemy with the report, or was it Aaron Wilson? I don't know. I can't follow. Schefter says DJ, KPRC saying Aaron. Aaron's been all over it lately, so I don't know. I know that he said that there was concussion symptoms and stuff like that. So CJ Stroud going to miss. Shout out to Aaron and DJ for doing what they do on the beat. So this is the thing about this. On the surface, you look at this, you see that Cleveland is ahead of you in the playoff standings, and you acknowledge that this game is huge. If you win this game, it is huge, but the Tennessee game, coming away from that Tennessee game, makes this actually, I don't want to say it minimizes the importance of this game, but the stats and the numbers actually show that if you lose this and then you win your final two games, I think the chances of making the playoffs are in the 80s or even the 90%. So, yeah, you win, it goes up obviously even higher, but for whatever reason, this game, if you got to err on the side of caution, and quite frankly, it's not really up to you when you're talking about a head injury like the one that CJ Stroud has. So now the Texans are going to have to figure this out. They're going to have to figure out how to win without CJ Stroud for the second straight time. And I got to tell you, I think it's a very difficult task ahead. I think it's, I understand that Cleveland hasn't been as good on the road. I tend to think when this defense is healthy, this is one of the better defenses and one of the last defenses. You want to put your quarterback out there against first string or second string, regardless. Also think if we're going to dive a little bit deeper into Case Keenum's performance, I'm not trying to minimize the gutsiness of it. He was kind of playing with fire a little bit with Tennessee. And you can do whatever you want to minimize, however you want to minimize Cleveland's defense, but Tennessee's defense without Jeffrey Simmons, not close to what Cleveland brings to the table. Not close at all. And that's one of my concerns. The concerns about Case Keenum versus the Browns. Number one is the Browns defense, specifically Myles Garrett. The last time that we saw Laramie Tunsil go against an elite edge guy, and I know Laramie Tunsil's banged up, it was Josh Allen. Josh Allen completely dominated him. It was perhaps the worst performance of Laramie Tunsil's career. Josh Allen completely dominated him. Now they're going to move Myles Garrett around, which might scare you even more. But the Browns defense, it's one of the best in the league. Not as good on the road, but it's one of the best in the league. The other thing that I think the Browns have going for them that no other team has going for them when it comes to Case Keenum is the Stefanski familiarity. Kevin Stefanski knows Case Keenum very, 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 very well. Knows him very, very well. They've been together in two different stops, speaks very highly of him. They both speak very highly of one another. So he knows Case Keenum better than anyone. So you talk about the fact that maybe Case Keenum probably should have thrown a couple of interceptions in the Tennessee game, although one of them might have been Dare's fault. Probably don't want Dare to be running routes. On top of the Stefanski familiarity, I'm just a little bit worried about the Case Keenum thing. I also wonder how sore he is. I know in the preseason he played that half and then he was hurt. I wonder how sore Case Keenum is. It's gonna be a very, very tough task for the Texans here. Texans 22 says, according to the time simulator, if we lose to the Browns but win Colts and Titans, we have a 97% chance of making the playoffs. Yes. So there you go. So 97 percent chance. So we'll see what goes down. It's definitely not ideal with Case Keenum going out there against this defense and against someone who knows him very well. Crazier thing about this game is what it was supposed to be versus the game that was. And you always, it's the NFL is an unpredictable league. Teams go from last to first every single year. It literally happens every single year. We could go through the examples we did in the preseason, and what you expect when the schedule comes out, it's not always the same as what it ends up being, especially when the game's in December, especially late December. I mean, just go back to what we were saying when this game came out on the schedule. Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns versus the Houston Texans, the draft position, like even the ultimate Texans optimist, you figured that the Browns would probably, based on their expectations, have a little bit more to be playing for than the Texans, and it wouldn't be balanced. Then early on in the season, Deshaun gets hurt, and the Texans are doing their thing, and you're like, okay, well, the Browns are going to fall apart, and the Texans are going to be the team trying to get in the playoffs. Here we are now, and we have playoff implications, strong playoff implications with two squads. And instead of CJ Stroud and Deshaun Watson, we have effing Case Keenum and Joe Flacco. That's insane. Like, what year is this? We have Joe Flacco, Case Keenum, playoff implications, no Deshaun, no CJ. Life comes at you really, really fast when it comes to things like this. This is insane. Now, I immediately, when I saw this, because I'm kind of a little bit of a sicko, I looked up the history between Flacco and Case Keenum, and they've actually met 4 times, 4 different team combos. I'll pull up my Twitter at Landry Locker. So they're 2-2 head-to-head, 4 different matchup. It's gone Keenum wins, Flacco wins, Keenum wins, Flacco wins. So there's a lot of Texans fans saying, well, it must be Keenum's time to shine. But 2014, we remember the deer stand game. Case Keenum comes out of the deer stand, ends up starting. The Texans beat the Ravens 25-13. Keenum 20 of 42, 185 and an interception. Flacco 21 of 50, 195, 2 TD, 3 INT. Then 2015, the very next year, Flacco's Ravens top Keenum's Rams 16-13. Keenum 12 of 26, 136 and a touch. Flacco 27 of 44, 299, touchdown, 2 interceptions. 2 years later, 2017, this was Case Keenum's best year. This was actually, I think Stefanski was on this staff, the Browns head coach. Keenum's Vikings top Flacco's Ravens 24-16. Keenum 20 of 31, 188 and a touchdown. Flacco 27 of 39, 186 and a touchdown. And then the next year, Flacco's Ravens top Keenum's Broncos. Remember when John Elway called him Case Keenum, drunk ass Elway. 27-14. Keenum 22 of 34, 192 and an interception. Then Flacco 25 of 42, 7 in a TD. So that's the history between these guys. They've gone at it quite a few times, and that's the history of this. And that's what's going to be the matchup that we're going to look to. The biggest matchup for me, though, like when it comes to relevance, is the Coach of the Year race. It's going to be on display in a big way. Right now, if I were voting for Coach of the Year, I would vote for Kevin Stefanski. Just me. Now, if DeMeco Ryans finds a way to win this game on Sunday, you got to put him, up there near the top. And he could be going toe-to-toe with Shane Steichen, who the Texans meet the Indianapolis Colts in Week 18. So, I called the win in Tennessee. I called it DeMeco's signature win, DeMeco's big win. He ended up getting that dub and taking care of business there. And now you got to wonder, is he going to be able to do it again? Because it's going to be a little bit more difficult, little better squad. The line opened at 1.5. I don't know if there's been a shift or anything. Let me check this. It appears that the line, sometimes they take it off when you don't know who the quarterback is, but they actually have it up. The Browns, it's shifted 4 points. Actually, we have a 5-point shift. The Browns are now favored by 2.5 after the Texans being favored by 2.5. So that's a big ass shift right there. The Browns are now favored by 2.5 points on the road. So Texans, if you want to bet on the Texans, you can get the points at home. Texans getting 2.5 now after being favored by 2.5. So there's the line shift. If you want to follow the money, if you want to follow the bread, if D'Amico's able to get this, it just adds to it. Now the question will be, what is CJ Stroud going to be like when he comes back? Is there something mental that he's going to be thinking about? Is he going to be rusty? It's going to be a couple of weeks. Best case scenario, if he's ready to go against Tennessee, that's going to be 3 weeks since we've seen CJ Stroud, and that's quite a while to be out. Good thing is, I'm sure he's staying in shape, but 3 weeks, that's quite a while. So could there be some rust? Could there be that element there as well? You're going to need that game against the Titans, the home finale there. So we'll have to keep an eye on what's up with him. Other stuff to look out for tomorrow. The injury report tomorrow, usually take with a grain of salt. That's going to drop during our show. Fire up the Odyssey app, the YouTube, the Twitch. We're going to Blake Cashman, keep an eye on him. Jimmy Ward, I don't anticipate Jimmy Ward playing this week. Will Anderson, they need Will Anderson. I know the question, it was obvious that they didn't really miss him against Tennessee, but you need Will Anderson. Hopefully he can get right. And then Nico Collins, it would be nice to have your best receiver there. I don't know if they're going to err on the side of caution there, but there's definitely a lot of injuries to look out for. And there's a lot of stuff going on in the division as well. Jags going to Tampa Bay to take on the Bucks. Bucks actually have the second longest win streak in the NFL. And there's going to be some other battles to keep an eye on. But Texans, Browns, CJ Stroud likely to miss. And the Browns are going to be rolling out the ghost of Joe Flacco. So we'll see how it goes. It's never a dull moment around here. We thought maybe that CJ would be back this week. 2 weeks, though, with the concussion. Makes you wonder, is he going to be okay? Is he going to be able to handle his business? Who knows? It's definitely something to keep an eye on. It's definitely something to monitor. Shout out to everyone for coming through. Appreciate it. We'll keep this going. This is a very brief live. And then we'll get right into it tomorrow. We'll have perhaps a longer one. I'll put out a video as well. And always remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together. No CJ, no problemo in Tennessee. Will that be a case? Will that be the case against the Browns? We shall see. Injury report tomorrow. Show begins at 10 a.m. On In the Loop on Sports Radio 610. Appreciate you for coming through.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the Locker Room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey, Locker Room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source. We the pulse of the city too. Landlocked. Got the game in the headlock. Localize every time. Can't stop, won't stop.